This is somewhat of an appendix to the previous video for this lesson. I gave the background and the history of the lesson, but somehow I did not actually get to the lesson, and I don't know how I did that. I apologize, but I'm here now to complete the lesson. Again, our subject is rescued from doubt. And to pick up where I left off in the last video, Jesus had fed the multitude with the 2 fish and the 5 loaves of bread. And they were there, and then it was time to disperse the crowd. So Jesus sent his disciples in a boat to go to the other side, and he went up into the mountain, and he was alone. While he was there, the word says that the wind was contrary and the ship was tossed among the waves when he was there. So then it says that the fourth watch, Jesus came to them on the water. And when they saw him, they assumed that he was a spirit, and they were afraid. And we've got to understand here that Jesus was doing things that no one had ever done before. So just imagine being out on the water in a storm. And we have electric lights now, but even still, it's pitch black when you're out on the water. Just imagine how that was. And they saw Jesus and they were afraid. And when he saw that they were afraid, he told them, he said, "Be of good cheer. Don't worry. Don't be afraid. It's me." Now we have Peter. Peter is always the one to speak up. And he said, "Okay, Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you." And Jesus did. He said, "Come." Okay, come on. And that's important because when Jesus calls you and you come, he always gives you what you need to sustain you. So the minute that Peter stepped out of the boat, he was able to walk on water. And here's the thing, it says that when he realized where he was and what he was doing, then he became afraid and he started to sink. Now, when we're reading this, we tell this story about Peter all the time, but haven't we all been guilty of the same thing? The Lord has brought you this far. The Lord has kept you. The Lord has delivered you. But sometimes we still allow situations to make us afraid when Jesus is the one who has us. He's holding us. He's taking care of us. And as long as we keep our eyes on Jesus, then we will be safe. That's where we have this word rescue. So then he had to cry out to the Lord to save him. And then it says he came and they went walking on the water together. But Jesus did scold Peter. He said, "Ye of little faith, why didst thou doubt?" And we're in the same situation so many times today where different things come in. Like I say all the time, I always talk about my age. I'm 50 years old and Jesus has brought me through so much. And at this point in my life, there should be nothing that can shake my faith. Yes, we are human. Yes, we feel things, but we have to be able to have the faith to step out. I always say, one of my quotes is that it requires skill to sail, but it requires faith to walk on water. And sometimes, especially in this age of high tech, we rely on our skills and we rely on our abilities to get what we want and do what we want and be able to achieve all of the things that we need to do. But in the midst of all of that, it's only by the grace of God and by the power of the Lord that we're doing anything. And we've got to understand that. And there are going to be times when we've got to step out on faith in order to get the salvation that we need, in order to get the healing that we need, in order to get the deliverance that we need, rescued from doubt. Just like Peter, the minute he took his eyes off of Jesus and started to pay attention to his surroundings and the circumstance, he started to sink. Same thing applies to us. When we stop focusing on Jesus and the fact that he is taking care of us, and we start to look at the bills mounting, the pains in our bodies, the conflicts within our families, the issues on the job, the things that's going on in church, when we allow all of those things to distract us and make us become worried and afraid about what's going to happen, then that's when we start to sink deeper and deeper. And one of my favorite hymns says that from the water, he lifted me up, and He is walking with me. It says that they walked on the water together. See, it doesn't matter how difficult it may be. I know a few nights ago here in the Chicago area, a tornado came through, a huge tornado system came through. You know, my daughter's married and she lives in the town where it's touched down, and she called me and she goes, Mom, I got the baby and I wrapped her up and I took her in the bathroom, and I couldn't get in my car and go over there because it was a tornado out there, and the Lord took care of my family and the Lord took care of me. And I was so proud of her because she wasn't even scared. She's like, yeah, Mom, I did this, I did that, and I'll call you, let you know the sirens are going off, I'll let you know when it passes over. And that's just an example of how we've got to live our lives. And then there's one more thing. I'm always going to try to get this in every chance that I get. We've got to be saved, because I'm at a point now, especially I was watching the news, which I rarely do, but it was talking about how there is such a shortage, a work shortage of everybody. Everybody is understaffed. And they were saying, yeah, everybody's understaffed because 600,000 people are dead. 600,000 people that were here last year this time are not here this year this time. And we're feeling the impact of those people being missing. But God saw fit to allow us to be here. And it's not discounting any of the lives that were lost. I even lost my mother in the last 12 months, not due to COVID, due to dementia and Alzheimer's, but it was a loss nonetheless. But if you're still here, it's for a reason. And if Jesus was able to keep you through everything, especially these last 12 months, if he kept you through that, at this point, I'm not even afraid of death anymore. My priority is living right and doing what God tells me to do, even with these lessons, to faithfully deliver these lessons to you, to try to get as many people as I can to go to heaven, because that's what God told me to do. When he saw Peter, when Peter asked if that's you, Jesus said to him, come. Jesus is still saying to us today, come. Won't you come to Jesus? Won't you allow him to save you and realize you are free from doubt?